So holiday makeup on mature skin can be a little tricky. Too much glitter will settle into fine lines and accentuate them, and too matte will just make your face look flat and tired. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the perfect holiday glowy look for mature women. So it's lifted, radiant, and textured friendly. I'm going to show you exactly what to do and what to avoid so that your makeup looks flawless and lifted all night long. If you do gain value from this video, please consider subscribing. So let's get started. So first things first, the glow starts before the makeup application. I'm going to go in there with this Bobbi Brown. This is a serum, and I'm just going to give my skin another level of hydration. Mature skin doesn't need really heavy primers. What it does need is moisture and smoothing. So I'm just going to go in there and press this into my skin. And just to let you know, any of the products I'll be using, I'm going to link them in the description box below. So we're not going to get too depth with the products. It's going to be more about the glowy technique for mature skin. So I'm going to use a light satin foundation. Definitely avoid using anything that's matte. And the one that I'm going to be using is this one here from Armani. This is the Luminous Silk. So it's going to give some luminosity, but it's not like a heavy glow foundation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some on the back of my hand here. This is in the shade 5.1. I'm going to take this very light, feathery, tight foundation brush, and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to dip my brush into it, and I'm really going to emulsify my brush in there, okay? And I'm just going to tap that around and really get it into the brush. And I'm going to be working in very thin layers. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in and I'm kind of just going to go over the top of my end, kind of brush that into the skin very lightly. I'm not looking for a heavy application. And can you see how that just gave the skin a little luminosity there? So you can see it's not really glowy, it's just very luminous here on the cheekbones. And you can bring that down on your neck also. And what I can do afterwards is I can go in there and spot correct some areas if I need to, because I do have some other problematic areas. We don't want to use a heavy foundation that's going to sit in our fine lines and texture. It will just exaggerate those points, and we don't want that. And actually I came up with two inspiration photos I'm going to leave up here. One I felt like was beautiful, but I felt like there wasn't enough done on the eyes, so I want to kind of correct that. And the other one I felt like it was beautiful, but I thought there was too much done on the eyes, specifically with the lash. So I'm going to put both of those pictures up here so you can see what I'm talking about. And what I'm going to do at the end here is I'm going to go in and I'm going to do one eye with a half lash, and the other one I'm going to be using just a lash curler and just kind of lift it up, and you can see the difference and which one might be a better fit for your eye. Okay, next I'm going to go in, and I am going to go in and kind of spot correct some of those areas, and I'm going to use this Skin Mimetics concealer. I'm just going to take this N17 brush, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to the end of the Skin Mimetics concealer, which is a serum concealer. It's not too heavy. I'm going to go around and see where it needs a little bit more attention, and this is just kind of feather that in there. It's not going to be too heavy. Here, always around my nose area, I need a little bit more. And I like this brush because you can see very light and airy, so it kind of gives like an airbrush type look to the skin. It doesn't go on there too heavy and just leave like a big blob there. Now you can see right across my nose here I have some discoloration, but I don't need the whole nose done. Before I do my under eye, I'm going to go in and do my eye. And the reason I do that is because if I do get any drop off from the eyeshadow, it's going to lay in my under eye, and I don't want that to add any darkness to my under eye. So if it does fall off, I still have that opportunity now to go in there and clean it up. I'm going to take this N13 brush. I'm going to go into this color right here. It's a very soft neutral crease color. Okay, this is from the Patrick Ta palette, and I'm just going to go right across my crease and give my crease a wash of color. Nothing too heavy, just a simple wash of color. I already have my eye primer on, so I don't need to go in there and do that. And I'm just going to go in here and make windshield wiper motions going back and forth just across that crease area. And you can see already what that does to the eye. It just kind of opens it up a little bit. Okay, so that's about all I'm going to do as far as like an eyeshadow, but next I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a little bit of shimmer. And this is where it can get fun for the holidays. I'm going to take this metal reflecting eyeshadow here. This is from BkBeauty also. And you can see it's this pretty shimmery color, and you can see the glow that had. Okay. And I'm just going to take this flat brush here. I'm going to spray the end of that. Now you can use a setting spray if you want. I'm using this Prep and Prime from MAC. This is a staple that's always in my kit. And I'm just spraying the end of that brush lightly because that's going to enhance that shimmer. And I'm going in and I'm just tapping my brush in there, and I'm going to strategically put that just on my lid. I'm not going up in the crease with it. And I'm going to press that in there like so. Now I am going to go in next, and I'm going to go in, I'm going to do my lash line, and I'm going to go in with this Too Faced Killer Chocolate, and you can see it is like this warm brown color to find that waterline. And then I go right up into that lash, okay, and bring it back and forth. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Then what I'm going to do to enhance that lash line a little bit more over the top of it is I'm going to go in with this darker color here, right here. It's not the darkest color, but it's pretty dark. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go right on that lash line and I'm gonna make like a flicking motion, and that's just gonna kind of soften it up and give a little bit of a lined look to the upper lash line. And what you wanna do when you go in there is take your brush, go right up against that lash line and flick it upwards. And that flicking motion is just gonna soften up. It's not gonna be like a harsh line on there. And because it's a powder, it's not gonna skip like a pencil. And then if I need to, I can go in with the pencil brush and just kind of soften that up ever so gently in there. And just remember, with mature eyes, we wanna keep it as soft as possible. We don't want any hard lines when we're doing our eye makeup. And then what I can do at the ends here is just kind of drag it out and upwards. Just pull it upwards very gently so it gives a more lifted look to the eye. And go right here to the corner of the eye and just pull it up very gently. And you can see that that looks very soft on the eye. You probably already noticed, but I already did my brows. Those probably aren't gonna change just because you're doing a holiday look or a glowy look. I'm gonna take a little bit of the shimmer, right? And I'm gonna go right here on that brow bone. And I'm just gonna put that just a tad right there. I'm not gonna bring it all the way across, just literally on the arch there. Then I can go in here and I can go in a little bit closer in the inner corner and just kind of put just a little bit in there. So now my under eye is ready for some concealer. And I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna again take that Skin Mimetics concealer, and this is a this kind of just melts right into your skin concealer. It's not too thick, it's not matte, it's not heavy, it's a serum concealer, and that makes the biggest difference for the mature eyes. Go in here, and I'm gonna take it outwards and out here. Then I'm gonna take that same brush that I did some spot correcting with, and I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna press that here. I'm gonna press that in, make sure I get the inner corner of this eye. And this brush just really does press it into the skin very nicely. And then when it comes to the outer corner, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pull that up. I'm gonna stretch that concealer going upward, up towards my temple, right? And then brush it out gently. Okay, and that's just gonna give it a more lifted look there. But you can see that concealer, it just really just sinks right into that eye. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Press that in there, and then take that and lift it up. Press and then stretch it upwards. So when you're done, it should look something like that. And you can see you have just a little bit of shimmer on the lid and then in that brow bone. So next I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna kind of warm up my face a little bit. And one of the best products I know for that is using a cream contour. Okay, and this is from Rare Beauty. And I'm gonna put some on the back of my hand, like so. You can see it's this color here. Take this N17 brush and I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna tap that brush into there, okay? I'm gonna work it off the back of my hand. That way I can just do it in layers. I don't have to go on and just kind of, you know, add it just all at once. And this is just gonna kind of give my face just a little bit of warmth that it so needs. And I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna tap that all along my hairline up here. Just very gently tap. And I can bring it across and just tap that in here. Don't be afraid to go right up into your hair too. Can you see already how that kind of just brought everything in a little bit more and added a little bit more warmth to my face? I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna go right above my ear here and I'm gonna tap that going upwards. Now you notice I didn't add any more product to that brush. I just used what was on the back of my hand and I just kind of tapped my brush into it. And because I don't want it to look too hard or heavy looking or dark. Like I'm too mature to have it so dark on my face. Okay, and then we're gonna go over here and we're gonna do the same thing. Again, I didn't add any more. And we're gonna go right from the top of that ear and we're gonna go with upward sweeping motions, okay? We don't wanna go down and drag the face down. We wanna always go upwards. Cream contour and cream blush are the best for mature skin because they kind of just melt right into the skin. That just kind of like softened everything up and made it a bit warmer. Then I can come down here on my jowls. Again, I didn't add anything else to this brush. I don't want it too heavy. And come down here and just kind of receive them going backwards right across that jawline. And you can see that that just kind of shaped my face nicely. So if you really like stand back and when you think about it, you want to do like a number 3 on the side of your face. We're gonna go in and we're gonna add some blush to it. I'm gonna be using this Pixie Blush on the Glow, it's called, and it's a cream blush also. It comes in like this little push-up that looks like so. I'm gonna use the other side of that N17 brush, and I'm just gonna take and I'm gonna rub that across there, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna add some blush to my cheekbones. I'm keeping it up high though. I don't want it down too low. I'm keeping it right up and through here. Kind of tapping that in there, and that's just gonna give it a healthy glow there. Keeping it up high, not bringing it too close to my eye. So when it's done, it should look like that. So I'm just gonna go in and touch up the brows a little bit. I'm just gonna kind of go in and make like these upward lifting motions, flicking it upwards. So I want to add a little bit more shimmer to my face, but I don't want to go in there with anything that's too heavy, too shimmery, too glittery. It's just going to sit in my fine lines and it's just going to accentuate them. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go in with this product from Chanel, and it's called Dragé, and it's a balm. It's a soft, glowy balm, which makes all the difference because it's not really heavy, but there is a slight shimmer. Can you see that? And where I'm gonna put that is I'm gonna go up here on my cheekbone, right? I'm not gonna get too close to the eye because I have texture in here, but I wanna go like right here and just kind of bring that upwards. Same thing over here, bring that upward. And you can see that kind of just melts right into the skin. If I need to tap it a little bit so it blends in, I can do that. But because it's a balm, it just kind of melts into the skin. I can also go with a tiny bit up here. I don't want to accentuate any texture, but I can go right above the lash line just a little bit. If you so desire, you can also do your Cupid's bow right there. Okay, so now you just have a very subtle glow. So next I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do my lips, and I'm gonna use this lip pencil from MAC, and it's called Soar. That's one of my most used lip pencils. It's a soft berry look. And then I'm gonna take this Victoria Beckham lip balm over the top of that, looks like so. They say it's a lipstick, but it plays more like a balm, and it kind of just melts right into the skin. It comes in this little push-up that looks like so. I'm gonna go and outline my lips, just blend it on, so it gives a nice soft berry look. Okay, so now for lashes, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this lash curler and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna curl this lash. And what I have a tendency to do for mature women's lashes is I go in there and I curl it 3 different times on 3 different places on the lash, and that just kind of gives it a little bit more lift. So what I do is I go right down to the root area and I do it and I pump it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hold for like 5 seconds, and then I go to the center of the lash and I pump again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, and then I go right to the tip of the lash and I pump each time 5 times and then hold for about 5 seconds. And you can see that that gives a lift to that lash. Your lashes are straight. You're gonna love the way what this does for the lash line. And then I would go in and take a lifting mascara. I'm gonna use this one here. It's from Wonder Skin, and this is a brown mascara, and go in there and just kind of lift those lashes up. And that would be what you would get with just mascara. But I want to show you what you can do also with a lash if you're interested in applying a lash. And this is very easy to do. I know that putting on lashes is one of the biggest complaints that people have, is they say that they can't get it, it's a messy, they are not able to do it. Well, I'm going to show you a really easy way to do it. So I have these lashes here. These are from Ardell, and these are the half lashes. And I do these a lot. For those of you who don't know, I have an on-location hair and makeup company, and I do a lot of weddings. And one of the things with the moms, the mother of the brides, first of all, a lot of them have never worn lashes before, but a lot of them are afraid of lashes. So I'll go in, and I totally get what they mean, because I don't like a lash that's overdone either. But what I would do is go in there and try these on them, and when I use these, they really do like it. So I want to share it with you. Is you just pull the lash out like so. You take some glue. This is like a stronghold lash glue, so it's made to go near the eye. So don't be afraid of putting this glue on there. I'm going to show you a different way to apply. It comes with a brush that looks like so. I'm going to go right across the top of that lash line. I'm just going to dab that glue right on there. Right across the top. Can you see where I'm putting it? It's like right across here. So this glue is made for sensitive eyes, so you should not have a problem. So you want to let that lash dry for a few minutes. Don't go in there when it's too wet. That's probably the biggest mistake I see women make, because they go in there when the glue is still very dripping wet, and that just will, you're not going to be able to get it to stick. You need it to be a little bit tacky. Okay, so now it's just slightly tacky, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lash, and I'm not going to go above, I'm going to go underneath my lash line, and I'm going to take it right up underneath here, and see how easily that went on there, and I'm going to push it up. Then what I can do is squeeze it together. Okay, so then when you're done, the lash should look like that. Okay, and it's on the under part of my lash, and it just kind of gives a lash a little bit of a kick. So it's also a lifting motion to that eye, where it's not too heavy, it's not too much. Now in this second picture up here, where I'm going to show you where I love her makeup, but I feel like the lash is too much, that's where it can be very distracting, I think, if you have that much of a lash on. I mean, she's stunning, she's absolutely gorgeous, but I just feel like it's a little bit too much of a lash. For me, anyway, who leans more towards a natural soft look. So, but that you can't really tell that there's a lash on there. But can you see the difference in the eye? eye. This one, it just kind of lifts it up outwards. This one, it's more like a halo shaped eye where it's lifted more in the middle from using the lash curler. But this one here is gonna give it that different cat eye type of look where it's accentuated going out. So what I'm gonna do is take my hair down to these hot rollers. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you what the finished look is. So this is the finished look. I don't need to go in and powder anything. If you do need to go in and powder, like if your nose gets oily or you get oily in the T-zone, just go in there and put powder in those areas. You don't need to powder the entire face. And that's the perfect holiday glow look for mature women over 50. It's elegant, lifted, and radiant without settling into fine lines. So let me know in the comments below, do you go really glam for holidays or do you just go more for like a subtle, softer, glowy type look? And if you want some more tips for glowy skin and healthy hair, don't forget to download my guide in the description box below. If you love books on tape, Audible is having a sale where you get the first month free and then you get the next 3 consecutive months for 99 cents. I'll leave that link in the description box below in case you're interested. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you gained any value, please consider subscribing and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.